Whether we are there or not, ITSP Magazine still gets the best stories. Plenty of conferences and events spark our curiosity and allow us to start conversations with some of the world's brightest minds. In person or virtually, Sean, Martin, and Marco Ciappelli go on location and sit down with them at the intersection of technology, cybersecurity, and society. Together, we discover what the synergy of these three elements means for the future of humanity. Coro, the leading cybersecurity platform purpose-built for small and medium-sized enterprises, protects against malware, ransomware, phishing, data leakage, network threats, insider threats, and email threats across devices, users, networks, and cloud applications. Learn more at coro.net.
Marco.
Sean.
Here we are.
Where?
I don't know. I've lost track.
I've lost track too. We
said we were in France so many times that I
know I have that joke. This is not a video, so I cannot make that joke.
We can
actually say whatever I want. People don't know where I am.
I think. I don't know. Do we make it to Poland this time?
I would love to. I've never been there.
I've not been myself. I know.
We'll bring Poland to us.
Maybe our guests will have us for a coffee in Poland.
I'm
sometime.
up for that.
All right. So I'm thrilled to have Michal and Marcin from Generali Poland. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for inviting us.
Thank you for having us.
and for hanging out while Marco and I be silly for a few moments. So in all seriousness, we're here at InfoSecurity Europe in London, and we're at the Excel, and a lot of great conversations being had this week. And one stood out to me, and I was grateful when the Generali team accepted the invitation to have a chat about cyber insurance. And it's a topic that I've had conversations with folks, primarily rooted in the U.S., and I'm interested to hear how things look here in Europe. So we're gonna talk about the market and the security postures of organizations in the EU and how that relates to cyber insurance policies and coverage and premiums and all that stuff. Before we do that, though, Marco, I want to meet Marcin and Michal. So, Marcin, a few words from you about your role, some of the things you've been up to.
I'm Marcin Gajkowski from Generali Poland, and currently I had so-called Liability team, which is business unit, which covers casualty, financial lines, and cybersecurity. I am insurance professional, actually, so I am not InfoSec, unfortunately. I came from casualty and professional indemnity underwriting, but I have devoted myself to cyber insurance recently because I realized that it is such an interesting area with a lot of promising opportunities in business.
Right.
So in 2021 we deployed our local cyber insurance policy. We branded it Cyber Red because it's a dominant color in Generali Group. And we started with cyber insurance there.
That's great. And before we move on to Michael, can I pause and maybe, what's the biggest difference between indemnity insurance and cyber insurance, or other policies you put together? Is there something that stands out as this completely changes the game and how we look at it?
Frankly speaking, there is no huge differences.
Okay.
It works like any other commercial insurance for me. But the important issue is that, especially in Polish market, which is still emerging when it comes to cyber insurance, is that if you are dealing with casualty business, let's say, so our clients know what's going on with liability policy, why they need such a policy. But when we start dealing with cyber insurance, it turned out that nobody knows what's going on and why they should spend some sum of money for the new kind of policy.
Right.
Why I need that. So this is something interesting as well for me.
Interesting. Very
something
cool.
that you cannot even touch.
Right.
That's the
Exactly.
weirdness of cyber.
You can picture a flood or a car crash.
Yeah.
All right, let's go with Michael, and
Yes.
then we dive it in with some
So
questions.
I'm Michal Balwinski. I work as senior underwriter and cyber insurance practice leader at Generali Poland. I am responsible both for the product, the policy wording or general terms and conditions, and the business side when we speak about the portfolio management, diversification, local risk appetite, and even side projects like some additions to the policies we have. Mainly it's my role to have the cyber insurance in Generali Poland working. Yeah.
So it's a relatively new conversation, and what intrigues me, being European myself, is that when I'm in the US, sometimes like, yeah, you're European. It's like the same thing when you tell someone, oh, you're American. There's a lot of difference there. I mean, maybe in Europe there are more differences anyway, and different culture that we came together with the European community, and we're still very, very different. And I would like to know from you guys what are the things that stand more when you talked about difference between certain part, like maybe the UK where we're here now, which technically is not European anymore, but it is still Europe geographically, and another part, eastern part of Europe versus maybe the Mediterranean area. So is there like some cultural that affect the way that people receive the concept of cyber risk and cyber insurance?
Yeah, I think I'll start with that because Europe is not one big united country, as you know, but we have also quite big diversification here. The UK insurance market and awareness of cyber risk is different than Western continental Europe and Mediterranean area. Also, when it comes to Central and Eastern Europe, we have much bigger knowledge gap than the Western countries because we were just cut out from the culture and everything by the Iron Curtain. So we still see the differences here, and I think that even if in whole Europe we still need to work on the market, to educate, to build the cyber awareness and cyber resilience. In our region, it is even more important for now because we have bigger knowledge and like historical gap, in technology there.
And our perspective, I mean, our as a Generali representatives, Generali Poland representatives, is a little bit unusual because we target our policy to mid-sized and smaller companies. So when it comes to, let's say, big business in Poland, I believe that there is no difference between Poland, Europe, and even United States. Let's say banks, they have the same vendors like every one bank in the world probably when it comes to cybersecurity. But when we start talking about mid-sized companies or small business enterprises, so I believe that this is a huge difference.
And do you mean, Marcin, then that they use local technologies that may or may not be, or maybe not even local, but just different sets of technologies to protect their business that may or may not be as mature in
I believe
their ability
this is
to
the
protect?
mental
More
as well.
mindset. Okay.
Mindset because it is especially in insurance. More people are buying insurance in, let's say, UK, in Italy, in United States than Poland. So the level of how to say
Insurance culture?
not really, but not so many policies here in Poland. So the same is in cyber insurance.
Regulations or standards, policies?
I believe that, let's say, the small companies don't think they need to insure themselves.
So it's a mindset.
This is the mindset.
It's a mindset.
So when we started with cyber insurance and started underwriting, and the task of underwriting is to adequately evaluate the exposure companies face. So we realized that those companies are not prepared enough to have insurance, cyber insurance, because we treat cyber insurance as a last line of defense in effective risk management.
Right.
But this is the last line, and it should not be the only line. So we expect from the companies to do something in terms of their cybersecurity.
Go ahead, Ben.
I think like on every insurance market, more or less, we have some minimal requirements that clients need to meet to just get the insurance offer, when it comes to cyber, but sometimes we even encounter companies that don't have basic antivirus software, so it can be difficult.
It makes me, what I was saying, Sean, I remember a conversation about cyber insurance at Pepperdine University, maybe 6-7 years ago, when the joke was, why do I need to buy cybersecurity? I'll just buy the insurance. Right? So the last line, but that's maybe when the regulation needs to really step in.
We want to avoid this kind of
exactly.
And so I believe that it is a good idea to think about insurance as a proverbial cherry on the cake, which is the form of enhancement to already something good situation.
Right. And it would also require, in order to cyber insure a company, that they do have some layer. I mean, you do like an audit to see, before I give you an insurance, I need to know that you're doing at least something about it, right?
Yeah, we're basing on some questionnaires we prepared. They are created with use of some international frameworks when it comes to cybersecurity. And also we have some our internal applications that help us even to check the public domain hygiene when it comes to our client, and some other tools I can't speak about much, but we try to see the risk that client has as a whole picture, and we think that the holistic approach to cyber risk, and even giving our clients risk betterment recommendations when we see a possibility to make something better, we just go that way. We are not seeing us only as the policy provider, but a partner to our client when we would like to openly speak about the risk with them and just help them build better awareness and cyber resilience.
Yeah, and it's that partnership. I've seen a lot of that in the U.S. So less of a shift left, if you will. I don't necessarily like that term, but anyway, it's not just an assessment of do you have. It's a conversation of how do we get to.
Yeah, exactly.
And I like the word partnership because it helps understand. We have a conversation and helps understand where there might be gaps, where there might be a mindset, where there might be a culture difference, and obviously all that stuff goes down to policy and control policy and actual technical controls that then lead to a posture that is insurable, right? And that's just not a moment in time. So I think the partnership is interesting as well. And of course, bad things happen, right? And you have to determine how the claim falls into place there. So do you do anything with respect to incident response preparedness and playbooks and run books and those types of things to help with the big picture?
Yeah, actually, we provide incident response to our clients because they usually don't have their own. They even don't think about to have some vendor or something like this. So yeah, we have our local vendor who provides this kind of service. So we are then clients will have the opportunity to call to the hotline 24/7, 365. They do not call to our office. The better way is to call to vendor, to incident risk response team, because it's quicker. It might be in Friday afternoon.
Right. Typically is.
So this is important part of our coverage for our policy.
So, price-wise, is the price the cost, not price, the cost? Even if I think by making a mistake, I said something I wanted to say, like an investment versus a cost. Like in your future, and we have this conversation many times. When a small business get hit by a cyber accident, it may be the end of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
So to even show to your customers that you have a posture, a cybersecurity posture, you have cyber insurance as well, it should be a value added to what they do. Now, are we there when you have this conversation with your potential customer there, or you really have to educate from the beginning to even explain that there is a cybersecurity risk?
I think that's the second option, sadly, especially when it comes to the smaller business. Some of mid-sized companies are quite aware of the risk, but when it comes to smaller business, we need to build up the knowledge from the beginning, from the fundamentals. Also we're conducting some market trainings, not only for clients, but also for the insurance intermediaries, like insurance brokers and agents that are selling this kind of insurance and consulting clients when it comes to the insurance needs. So we build up this cyber awareness from the beginning.
So it's not that they cannot afford it, it's just they don't get it. They don't get the idea of it.
Yeah, when we, as I mentioned, and it's still about this partnership, how to be lifetime partner. When we start with this cyber red, we discover what we discovered. We start discussion with me how can we help our potential clients, at the same time how can we help ourselves. Probably so for me. It is how to create the market. Actually, this is the question.
You raise all the ships when you raise the water level, right?
Yeah, but first we realized that maybe it would be better to offer some other element of prevention to our policy, not just only insurance certificate, but something which will be helpful. And we also should contribute in educating of the market, in education of the market. But the good news was that there are a lot of cybersecurity vendors, companies in Poland, and they are ready and happy to discuss with us. So we start this conversation, we start meeting with very interesting people. So that's why we. Now we, let's say, provide, and that's why we are here. We provide this special offer to our clients who sign CyberRed. We call it anti-phishing package. So the crux here is to offer, is to provide to clients cutting-edge security keys, YubiKey. And at the same time, the education. So what I mentioned.
Yeah. So I want to, in the last minute we have here, one of the things that we've had a lot of conversation around this week is the idea of resiliency, right? And the fact that ransomware is still very, very prevalent, right? So we're trying to create a posture that's resilient, which is not just about privacy, protecting the integrity of data, but keeping systems and the data available. And then ransomware is a kind of a thorn in the side of that, right? Where most controls will be in place and effective, but then there's this one place where the whole thing can blow up in the organization's face. So I want to hear your perspective on, I don't know if it's Poland's position or maybe the broader EU's position on whether ransom payments should be paid or not. I think is there a law pending in the EU or is it the UK? No, it's the UK, sorry. Law pending in the UK for not to pay. But I don't know, any thoughts on that? Because if you look at, and I don't know, maybe an ethical question as well, if you want to answer it in that regard, but if it's a small business, they go out of business unless they pay, perhaps. If it's a health issue, or patient safety is in question, is it the right thing to do to pay or not? I don't know if you have any thoughts, if Generali has a position, Poland has a position, whatever.
I would say that our position is straightforward here. We are not going to pay for ransom, with some small exceptions.
Really small exceptions.
Let's say that there is a risk of
the highest need to.
If somebody maybe is going to die or something like this. Okay,
right.
so
risk of lives.
Yeah. But we don't think it makes sense. Let's say some well-known cases like Norsk Hydro, for instance. For me, it's a very good example why companies should act when it's attacked by ransom. And on the other hand, we provide the part of coverage is business interruption. So we deal with the same problem. The company just stopped working, and there's probably loss of income. So we offer the
so regardless of cause, there's still some.
We're still helping our clients, but we are not into paying the ransom, and we also need to remember that paying the ransom just gives cyber criminals more money for more tools and more people to conduct more attacks.
And this was the truth for any kind of ransom, even if before it was ransomware. Or that
exactly.
Like, are you giving up? Are you giving the bad guys what they want, and they keep doing it? It's kind of like. That's the same thing, and I think we can go to the beginning of the conversation, where we call it cyber. It is cyber. We can't touch it, but the consequences are real, and the policy, as you said before, Martin, is you treat it as any other form of insurance. The principles are the same. So I think that's the key, but we need to educate people, which is what we try to do all the time on ITSP Magazine for the past 10 years. and I think being able to exchange this different perspective and culture, it helps us to educate even more people, because I think it's important for the people listening to us in the US right now to know what's going on here, as well as the people that may listen in other parts of the world, because in the end, there is no boundaries where it comes to cyber attack. So that's the big, I don't know, that's what I'm getting the most from this conference, is that we need to be thinking without borders.
Strength in numbers.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
We're good.
Let me add one thing. We also address this issue in this special offer, because the anti-phishing is, as the name suggests, anti-phishing, and as you know, ransomware very often starts from phishing. So this is also our contribute to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it's funny. I was going to ask that question, but I was looking at the time because it's one thing to say, sorry, no ransom payments allowed, but without, and you offered the one support for business continuity or business interruption. But for me, it all comes back to, well, if you can't pay the ransom, you better have an alternative in protection and preparedness to deal with it in a different way. Backups and encryption and whatever else.
Yep.
So, redundancy.
Well, thank you so much for your time. I really enjoyed it. Learned a lot.
Pleasure meeting both of you.
Thank you for this opportunity. It was an interesting conversation.
Very cool. Likewise, and for everybody listening, we still have a couple of more conversation coming from InfoSecurity Europe in London, on top of the many at this point, that even more than what we thought we were going to have. So stay tuned.
Maybe another recap from the Sin.
I don't think anybody want to hear us anymore, but you'll get that too. Stay tuned.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Coro, the leading cybersecurity platform purpose-built for small and medium-sized enterprises, protects against malware, ransomware, phishing, data leakage, network threats, insider threats, and email threats across devices, users, networks, and cloud applications. Learn more at coro.net. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Sean and Marco's on-location event coverage conversations. Please take a moment to give the show a good rating and leave a comment. Remember to share this podcast with your friends, family, and colleagues. Come back for more conversations and follow Sean Martin and Marco Ciappelli as they continue their journey toward redefining cybersecurity and society.